what they do know is that the young man who they say is involved in this did play a lot of violent video games.
That's right, and hearing that and similar stories of other mass shootings, researchers, including a psychologist that we spoke to here in Albuquerque, are now trying to talk about whether or not there may be a link between violent games and real life violent situations. So we sent our News 13's David Romero to go look further into this subject. He's live at the Newsplex. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Elizabeth. Well, so far in almost every article that we've come across, and according to Dr. Christopher Alexander, on the surface, there's no defined link between the violent games and acts of violence. Now, that's something that the Centers for Disease Control and President Obama say needs to be further researched in order to establish a solid connection. In all the works that Dr. Alexander has seen so far, the research indicates that most of the shooters are male and have experienced some sort of loss or some failure. Most are also experiencing some sort of depression and are even suicidal. Even countries that have the highest rates of kids playing violent video games, they do not have that high of a rate of gun violence.
That we do have other corollaries that jump off the page more, the video game usage. So I think that if research is done to look into it, that's fine, as long as it doesn't stop there, but instead starts to broaden it to take a look at these other variables that we're more sure of in terms of who is committing these crimes.
And Dr. Alexander adds another thing that they see currently is that 40 to 45% of girls play video games, and they do not see as many violent acts coming from them as they do from boys. Back to you.
Interesting, David. Thank you. Dr. Alexander, by the way, adds that the common denominator among all the shootings involving tragic incidences have had access to guns, not so much that the people involved were playing violent video games.